Is watching pornography the same as cheating? And the reason I ask is because of this one woman who has cancelled her wedding just a week before the big day after she discovered her fiancé watching porn. Claire Dalton said her now ex-partner had kept it a secret from her throughout their relationship, and she discovered when she looked at his search history on his phone. He initially blamed it on someone else using his phone, but then later he confessed. She said it wasn't so much the porn that was the problem, but the fact that he'd lied about it for years. Was she overreacting, or does she have a point? Is it as bad as having an affair or having a third person in your marriage, say? Research is divided on the subject. Some people believe it can open the door to cheating, and there's a campaign group called Fight the New Drug, and they are actively discouraging people from watching it, claiming that it's addictive and can damage relationships. So where do you draw the line? Does it include explicit magazines, say? There's no doubt it's a very big industry. Last year, one of the most popular sites got 28.5 billion visits across the globe. That is almost 1,000 per second. So it stands to reason that not all of those would probably think that what they were doing was the same as cheating. Martin, tell us why you were laughing at that statistic then.
OK, so in 2013, I made a TV show called Porn on the Brain. We looked at porn's propensity to become addictive for young men. Since then, I've spoken with about 15,000 teenagers in schools across the UK about porn usage. And I always get them to do a show of hands at the start of it. So how many people in this room have watched porn? And it's round about nationwide from age 13 onwards, about 90%. 90%. By 16, it's everyone. And that's boys and girls, by the way.
Right.
So let's just...
Equally boys and girls?
Tends to be more boys watch younger, but by 16, there's parity. Okay. So let's just admit that we're all at it.
Have watched at least once, as opposed to regularly...
No, but porn is the new normal. And that's not necessarily a good thing, but it is a thing. Your lady Claire here, who is saying that she won't marry a man who watches porn, I think she's destined to be a spinster. I think she's never going to find anyone. If she's set in the bar that high, then I'm afraid it's an artificial kind of barrier.
But I guess it does come back to what Susie was saying. Is it about regularly watching it and needing it, maybe, or just occasionally having a look? Well,
it depends what you term as regular. Are you a regular drinker? What does that mean? Are you a regular porn watcher? What does that mean? Now, if you're secretive and doing it behind your partner's back, there's probably a reason for that.
Well, presumably, in this case, it was because he knew she would she wouldn't like it.
But secrecy is actually the problem. All the young lads I work with who went on to have problems with porn usage, using it too much, did so because of secrecy and because of shame. And there's a load of evidence to show that actually healthy porn usage can be beneficial and actually stops cheating. This idea that it kind of tempts us into a life of kind of moral kind of sin, I think is an old-fashioned Mary Whitehouse.
An awful lot of people are going to be watching right now and thinking, yes, but if you need porn or if you're watching it very much and you have a relationship, then there must be something lacking in the relationship.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, the woman is Christian and she's very religious. And so I question if they're having sex at all, which is why he's having to find an outlet for this via the porn. She must have, there's many things wrong with this particular relationship because she must have suspected something was wrong to look at his history.
To look at his phone.
She should also have checked that a lot sooner.
She found
should have checked his phone a lot sooner.
Yeah, before you agreed to marry him.
And then she found this history. And so I think that there's things wrong in this relationship, but also there was a time when everything was hardcore pornography. Now, there's soft porn, and things that were considered hard porn before are just everyday visual images that we use. So it depends also what he was looking at.
So should we, Susie, accept that nowadays we live in a world where porn is the new norm?
I think we ought to be aware that it's there. But, you know, any marriage is a contract. It's a deal that you have with your partner about how you're going to go through the rest of your lives together. And speaking as a divorcee, I really wish people actually wrote a contract down at the start so that there were no misunderstandings later on. If the deal that this lady made was that he was going to be faithful to her and have no sex with anybody else, even imaginary sex with anybody else, then, you know, he's broken the deal. He's also lied to her and he's had secrets. So, likewise, he thought part of the deal was, I can keep secrets from you. They needed to have better communication.
You know, if you look at who watches the most porn, If you look at the Bible Belt of America, they watch the most porn.
Is that right?
It is absolutely provably true that this kind of forbidden fruit, which starts with Adam and Eve and goes through your life, it drives it underground. It's unrealistic to assume that a faith breeds compliance with the rules of the faith. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, the CIA had found that ISIS men, all they did all day was sit around watching porn on their on their phones. That's all they did all day.
But seriously?
Yeah. The CIA, I did a show about this, and the CIA had done loads of investigations, and they found that the young boys, all they did in Iraq and Syria was sit around watching
There's
porn.
two distasteful things about it, is the age at which people are exposed and how that may set your opinion about sex as you get older.
Yes.
And also, how can you be certain the people you're watching are enjoying themselves? How can you be absolutely sure they aren't victims of sex trafficking or abuse or other issues?
Absolutely. Well, let's get back to the point about whether it is. If it's happening in your relationship, is it a form of cheating? So let's talk to Jenni Trent Hughes, who's in our audience right now. She's a relationship expert. She should know about this stuff. Is it a third person in a marriage? Is it cheating?
Well, first of all, everything that Martin's saying is absolutely, completely true. And one of the points that we really do need to address is we keep talking about boys are watching. They now know that on average, 1 in every 3 women is regularly watching porn. And so that's something else that I think that we need to look at is what is porn? What does porn look like now and who is watching it? And in this particular relationship, I would say that if I were a man I was engaged to someone and I found out that for whatever reason she had been searching through my phone history, she would be out the door.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, because it's all about trust. So, when it comes down to a question of is it cheating or is it not cheating? Cheating means that somebody is damaging your trust in them. Somebody sneaking around in your phone history is damaging your trust in them.
Yeah, but wouldn't most people in a relationship hope that whatever he wants from his sex life, he can get with me? Whatever she wants from her sex life, she can get with him. That's the sort of romantic view we have.
Well, I completely agree with that. And the thing about changing behavior, any kind of behavior that we're not comfortable with, it boils down to it's not what you're doing, it's why you're doing it. So if you're with somebody who is watching porn because they started watching when they were 14 years old and they have done it every day since they were 14 years old, that's one thing. If it's somebody who is watching porn because whatever needs they expected to be fulfilled within a relationship are not being fulfilled, that's something else as well.
Yes.
So watching porn is one thing. Why are they watching it? I used to ask people when I was much younger in dating, I would actually ask men after the first date or so, what do you think about porn? And I would do it very winsomely and smiling, so it was up for interpretation. I could be saying, I really love it, let's go look at some now. Or I could be saying, you better say no if you want to see me again. There was no, there was nothing attached to the question.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to know. Because I knew that for me, and I'm as wild as the next person, porn doesn't do it for me. But then I don't watch Strictly Come Dancing or Bake Off because I don't want to watch people doing something. I either want to be doing it or not doing it. I don't want to watch other folk doing it. But, that's me.
You said 1 in 3 women watch.
Yeah.
Well, I don't either. I feel the same as you. It doesn't do it for me, so...
I've got books to read.
Okay, well, exactly.
Cassie has got books to read.
I'm reading Michael Caine's autobiography. It's quite big. I need to get...
Well, I'm a Yuval Harari guy, so But you want to know, and I'll tell you something that's even more interesting, or at least was to me, is what it is that women are watching. Because... Yeah, and younger men, want to see the traditional, 3 blondes and the postman or whatever it is.
Tradition.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you find that a lot of women, say women in our age group, are actually watching male gay porn. They're watching porn of solo male activity because they find that when they watch most porn with women in it, the women don't look like they're really having a good time, and the women don't look real and all of that. And so they would rather watch a man on their own. So it's, why are you watching what you're watching? What is it that you're watching? How long have you been watching it? But there needs to be conversation.
This is, as they say, doing my head in.